Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really powerful story. It's all about how thinking just a little bit differently, finding an alternative path, can help solve some of life's absolute biggest challenges. We're going to see how a bit of cooperation can unlock not just money, but a way, way better quality of life.
So let's just jump right in with the big question. We're talking about two single parents living in Raleigh, North Carolina. Each one is juggling a job, raising a kid, doing it all on their own. How on earth could they manage to save almost $47,000 in just 1 year? I mean, it sounds almost impossible, right? But the answer comes down to one simple but pretty radical change.
And there's the answer. They teamed up. That number you're looking at, $46,800, is how much they saved together. And get this, it's after tax. This isn't extra money they earned. It's money they no longer needed to earn just to get by. That is absolutely life-changing. So how'd they do it? Well, look at these numbers. When they were living apart, these two families needed a combined income of over $150,000 just to cover the basics. But by moving into one shared house, that number plummeted to just over $100,000. It's a perfect example of how sharing costs works in the real world. They just needed way less money to live well.
Okay, so where did that massive $47,000 saving come from? Let's get into the nitty-gritty and see which of those everyday bills took the biggest nosedive when they went from two households down to one.
All right, the single biggest win, and this won't surprise you, is housing. I mean, for most of us, it's our number one expense. By sharing one home and splitting just one rent payment, they literally cut their housing cost in half. Boom. That's a savings of over $21,000 a year. Right there. But it didn't stop with the rent. The savings just kept stacking up. Transportation costs went down because they could carpool. Childcare got cheaper because they could cover for each other instead of always paying for babysitters. And think about all those duplicate bills that just vanished. One internet plan, one set of utility bills. You get the idea. It all adds up, and it adds up fast. But, this story isn't just about the money. Not even close. As this quote gets at, the most valuable thing for a single parent is often time. That constant feeling of being stretched thin, of having to do everything yourself. This co-living setup attacks that problem head on. So what actually happened to their day-to-day lives? They were totally transformed. Instead of two parents each having to cook dinner every single night, they could take turns. One person makes a big meal for everybody while the other can help the kids with their schoolwork. They had built-in backup for childcare, which gave them more flexibility at their jobs. They essentially built their own support system, a real partner to help run the house.
Now, what's so cool about this is that their setup isn't just some random life hack. It's actually a perfect, real-world example of a much bigger idea for solving problems. It comes from a project called altpath.ai, which is all about finding these kinds of creative paths to a better life.
And the framework they use is called elegant pragmatism. The idea is actually really simple but powerful. First, you find a solution that's practical, one that actually works. That's the pragmatism. But you don't stop there. Then, you shape it so that it also makes your life genuinely better, more enjoyable. That's the elegance. And their co-living solution is just a masterclass in this. Looking through the pragmatic lens, does it work? Heck yeah, it saves a ton of money and time, it's efficient. And through the elegant lens, does it delight? Absolutely. It created a simpler, less stressful home life. It gave them support and totally uplifted everyone involved. So here's the key takeaway for you. This whole mindset can be used for any challenge, not just housing. It's all about finding your own alternative path by figuring out what parts of your life could use a solution that's both practical and, elegant. The Old Path framework gives us this idea of quality of life buckets. Think of them like a personal checklist for your own well-being. You can just look at this list and ask yourself, where am I feeling the most strain? Is it my income? Do I have enough time? Am I feeling isolated? Figuring out which bucket is empty is always the first step. And if we look back at our parents, we can see exactly how their one big move filled up a bunch of these buckets all at once. Their income insecurity, massive improvement. Time autonomy, they got hours of their lives back. Social connections, a built-in support system. And all of that boosted their overall well-being. It was one change that had this incredible positive ripple effect across their whole lives.
So this leaves us with a final thought. Look, the point of this explainer isn't to say everyone should go find a roommate. Of course not. It's about something bigger. It's about inspiring us to challenge our assumptions, to get creative. For these parents, the village they needed was just one housemate away. So the question for you is, what does your alt path look like? What's the pragmatic and elegant solution that's just waiting to solve your biggest challenge?